Hey guys, good morning. Thanks so much for joining this week's session. So let's start. So, as we already discussed, this is part of 9 level series. Let's take one quick minute to go through that. So, you can see the levels over here. What we planned is 9 levels. In each level, there will be 10-30 minutes small session. Like if we start, we should be able to complete it. It's like an achievable task. Okay. So that's one thing. And really, I'll take one more minute, less than a minute for sure. So this is a meetup where we publish. So coming up is Amazon Bedrock models and C-line vibe coding, agentic coding, and then followed by session 7, and then build your first AI agent with OpenAI, MCP, LLM. That's coming up, and then session 8. So these are some of the things which got piled up. And you can see this. This is .NET Learner's House. This is the YouTube channel where we are going to publish, and you can see this playlist which I've given in the documentation also. You can go to this Python fundamentals, so you can see this. The previous 5 sessions are here, so the sixth one will get added once we are done with this. And the final piece of information I would like to give is this GitHub, where I'll be having all the session content, and this is exactly the session which we are discussing now. So I'll just, for the benefit, I'll just drop it here in the chat also. I mean, it's already there here in the description of this YouTube video itself, but additionally, I just dropped in here. Okay. So that being said, let's go ahead, and we already completed session 1 to 5, and we do have the link of the series which is there. Okay, just go through it. So what are we going to cover in this particular session? Loops and iterations. As we are traveling or navigating through 9 levels, each level has got 10 sessions, 4 sessions followed by one mini project, like another 4 session followed by one mini project. Like each level has been divided into 2 parts, part A and part B. Like if you see this for a quick 30 seconds or so, we'll be able to see that like each session we'll be able to see that's divided into 4 mini sessions followed by a mini project, and another 4, I'm calling it as a part 2 for lack of better word, followed by a mini project. So this is level 1, and then we'll go to level 2, and level 2 also will follow the similar thing, 4 sessions followed by mini project. So that's the story. So without further delay, let's hit the road and start with the first concept. There are a lot of things to cover. Let's go and start with this. So explain why loops are better than copy pasting repeated lines, and we'll take a look at for loop, range, and we'll take a look at while and break, continue, pass, small loop based program, countdown and FizzBuzz, and apply this while, break, and continue to complete the loop driven program, and read the compound conditions in the while loop and some of the non-Boolean values. So we have a lot of programs to discuss. There are around 9 things, but we'll discuss everything. So to go through this, it will be good if you already cover session 2, 3, and 4. That means every session what we do is being built on the previous sessions. Some of the concepts which we introduce, and again we'll revisit that in future. So let's take a look at this. A real simple thing. We have 9 programs to discuss, and also So you can see that if you do the pi and -0, so that gives the list of available Python versions on your box. So currently asterisk is in 3.14. That means we are using 3.14. Now let me go to Python. So we go into the REPL. So that's we are in the REPL. Now there are help. I can do the for. Okay, so when we do for, so it says that the for statement is used to iterate over the elements of sequence. So it could be the list of strings, or it could be tuple, or list or string, or it could be numbers. Very specifically, if it is numbers, it is range. Okay, so that's one thing to oops. Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is we need to know a little bit about range. So I can call that as help and range. So this is how we will learn. So range you can see here. So helps to uh, give us a range of numbers from, if you give the only one value, that it considers at stop, that's the maximum one. So from 1 to 10, so that means we'll give 11. So it doesn't include the last one. So other thing what we can do is we can give the start, stop and step, like 1 to 11, jump two values. So that's a step. Okay, so that's a thing. So I think we do have a uh, uh, decent things to start with this. So let's go and look at this for loop. And here we can see that's an help text just came. So count from 1 to 5. So when you mouse over on this range, so range the documentation, so we'll see that. So it, that's what we already seen. So start and stop we have seen, and step by default it is 1. So it's not inclusive of the stop number. So if you see that the sequence integers from start, that's inclusive. Stop is exclusive. That means if you say 1 to 6, that means 6, the end is exclusive. You can see the end value is exclusive. That means it runs from the start to n minus 1. Whatever you give it as part of the stop, stop minus 1. Okay, so to the other thing which we have seen is start, stop and step. Now you're saying that 2 to 10, so I want to display even numbers. So I'm saying that hey, jump two numbers, so it jumps two numbers. Now you can see that I said 5 to 0 minus 1. That means it's a reverse. Even though start is 5 and you're saying that all the way till 1 and stop at 0 and minus 1. So every time you decrease this value. Okay, other simple pattern is this asterisk, like you can have this triangle or alphabets, a lot of different things which we can learn from that. First we'll execute this. Can say pi and 01 is my first program. So let's execute. We saw that it was 1 to 6, but it executes 5 because stop is n minus 1. That's exclusive the stop value. So here we are displaying even numbers. So we said that jump 2. So the step was 2. So here the loop was 5 to 0. 0 means it's exclusive and it's minus 1. A simple pattern like 1 asterisk, 2 asterisks and 3 asterisks, like it's going through the for loop. So that was the first concept for today we discussed. And second thing what we will do is we'll work on the while loops. Again, we'll come back to this one and we learn two different things. Let me jump out of this again for the benefit. You can do see Python. Py is a Py launcher. So it came to 3.14. When I do Python, it goes to the it goes to the previous version. Let's use Py. So we are in 3.14. So one way to take help is you can type help and give what you want to learn while. So that gives the while statement. So it says that statement is used to repeat execution as long as the expression is true. It's based on the condition. Okay, and that's the simplest thing. Other one, what we can do is you can type help, and now you can see this. This was our prompt, triple greater than. Now this becomes help. So now in this case, what we can do is we can directly type while. It gives that. I want to quit out of this. You can do quit. It will come back to not coming. Oh, what? Exit. Okay, so it's exit. I'm sorry. So two ways. One is help within parentheses, give the string what you want to learn, like this, or just help. Now the prompt itself will change. Now you know that something we want to execute based on the condition. So the start value, somewhere we need to start. That should be start. And every time you need to check the condition. And then you need to assign the value or adjust the value within that. So that means what happens is maybe you're coming from 1 to 10, I equal to 1 to 10, I less than 10, the while loop, and I plus plus, or 10 to 1. So I equal to 10, and I greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. If you forget that to either increment or decrement based on the program which we are writing, so that goes into the infinity loop. Let's quickly look at this. So here the count starts at 5, and we are saying that 5 greater than 0 as long as this condition is true. So do a minus minus and it displays. So sometimes what happens is you're saying note strip lower value, type short notes, quit to stop, or something. Or again, we are going into the same loop until we type quit. It goes on and on and on. So let's come back to this and execute our second program. 502. Now see this, it came from 5 4 3 2 1. Now here apple, I'm typing apple. So what happens is here it comes and validates. It's an initial value, and it comes and checks is the value which we are given in 35 is equal to quit. No, it's not. Then again it says that we have saved it, give me the another value. Now if I say quit here, it comes out. Now let's try the another one. So here the initial value itself, if it is matching the condition, then it will break. So that means instead of giving apple, if I give quit, that's the first loop. It doesn't even get inside this. We gave quit. So the first at line 36, it validates note not equal to note. No, the value inside this note variable, is it not equal to quit? No, the condition failed. So it jumps out. As long as the condition is true, it iterates or loops inside this while loop. The moment the condition fails, it jumps out. So that's the second concept we looked at. Now here also, if you say that the value itself is 0, now it doesn't print anything. So the first thing is you need to ensure that the initial value, whatever we assign, it should be the starting value, and we'll check the condition and then the adjustment. I'm calling it as an adjustment for lack of better word. It could be it could be increment, or it could be decrement, or whatever the value, but we need to adjust that value so that at some point of time the condition in line 29 or the condition at line 36 should be false. That's when we'll be able to come out of this. If not, it's like an infinity loop. We'll be moving on and on and on inside the same loop. Okay, that's about our second concept which we learned today. It was like a for loop. Now on top of this, we'll be able to do the compound conditions. So the compound conditions here, the compound conditions is like you can check multiple things. Is it in that, or is it in this? Where is the compound condition? it's while true, values to variable. No. Okay, I think let's discuss this in the ripple. So we see that the compound conditions, like we already discussed individual things like and operator, not operator, and or operator. These operators we discussed. So sometimes we have to assign all these things to validate, like um, is record not equal to inactive, and the age is greater than 18, and school fees paid or the college fees paid, or some other condition, uh, or condition like he paid for 10 years or something of that kind. So when we have this compound conditions, the order of precedence is very, very important. So you can write simply like this. Like here we can see that the value is true and not false or false. So here when we write like this, so then it's purely based on the order of precedence. We didn't give any parenthesis here. So the what is the first order of precedence is not. So that means first is it will evaluate not false. Okay, not false is true, and then it is and. So true and true is true, and then it is or. So true or false is true. So let's see this here. Let's go to the ripple and let me paste this. So see this, it's true because it is uh, it is something based on the order of precedence. So that's one thing. So here also, if you see that step one is not is the highest priority. When we say that not of false is, it is true. And then next is and. So where do we have and? True and false. It is false. Here it is true. So false and false or true. False or true is true. Or false is again true. So the compound condition or the end result of this compound condition is true, because as we have seen that not of false is true, and the next is and. So true or false is false. False or true is true. Again, true or false is true. So that's how it. Or else give the parenthesis to have a better clarity. Now, see, instead of one condition, if you want to do something of this kind, like safe equal to count max tries and is not cancelled, something of that kind. So here what is happening is if it is cancelled, not of cancelled is true, and this should be true. So that's how the compound statement will be evaluated. So let's see a couple of other things, the programs which we have it. So continue the demo and skip 3. So there's something else known as this continue. Let's look at that in our help text. Help continue. Oh, sorry, I need to give it as a text. Okay, so when you want to jump back to the loop, so maybe in the for loop or while loop, we will say continue. So when it is some condition has been met, we don't want to process rest of the loop. In that case, we use continue. That means we don't want to come out of the loop. At the same time, we don't want to process the rest of the code, which is below this continue statement. In that case, we use this. Another thing we use is break. So let's check it real quick. Break. And break is whenever you want to terminate the loop, whatever condition. the main condition where the loop, for loop or while loop, it's traversing. Apart from that, you're trying to evaluate some other condition within the loop, and when you encounter that condition, you want to jump out of this for loop or while loop. You don't want to further process the entire loop. I mean, if I say that uh, for range is 1 to 5,000, and if at all it is 99 and some condition has met, I want to come out of the loop. I don't want to process rest of the 4,901 records. So I just want to come out of that. So continue, and we have break and pass. Pass keeps syntax valid when you don't want to do anything. I mean, if you open a definition or a method, so it's like this. I'll say that def uh, dummy function. It doesn't return. So that means if I don't give this pass, then that's an error condition. Okay, so this is the loop 3. So let's try this. Oh, I need to quit pi 03. Okay, so you see this, when you try to do nothing inside that, that's an error condition. Like I write a comment, some comment, doc string, some placeholder for this function. So it's accepting, but if you don't put this doc string and you want to leave it, something like that, that's an invalid case or error case. So in that case, we need to have the pass. So that means just you wrote it, it's of no use, but you want to keep that intentionally do nothing. In some condition, you process rest of the things. I don't know why, but definitely there might be real use case somewhere. So you'll see that when we execute that, we tried skip 3. So that is continue and break. So after 3, we don't want to process. There's a placeholder. That means we added pass. Anywhere we have this method or this if condition, you want to do nothing. So in that case, we write the pass, and FizzBuzz, we wrote that. Let's look at the calculator demo, which we have discussed in the previous session. The only thing, the previous session 5, when we discussed the calculator as part of the mini project 1, so at that time it was a single run. It wasn't looping through. Once we executed this, again we need to go back and execute this. Here, a small addition, nothing big. Only thing is while true, we accept this value. If the operation is Q, that means we have to jump out of this one. Actually, this should be a compound statement. Q to quit. I mean, if it is you want lowercase q, uppercase q, or quit in any combination, you can do that a compound condition. But we are considering the users are good citizens, they will give a valid prompt. So we're taking it. And if the second thing is we're saying that operation, if it is not in any of these things, then invalid operation. Continue, that means it comes here. If it is quit, break, that means we come out of this loop. If it is continue, that means it will again go back here. It will not process the statements below the continue, that we saw that. And we accept these two values, and then it's just a simple cleaning and just validation, some kind of validation, and process this. Let's see. This, I'll say pi 04 as a calculator. It's a calculator. So we'll see. Um you want to type quit. So again, we saw that if at all it is not within this condition, the continue condition, that means it is coming here in line 38, invalid operation chosen. Okay, line 38. If I say q, so that means it comes here because we have a break. And this one I want to multiply. I mean, this rest of the things is pretty similar. 2 into 0 as 0, and I want to quit. Okay, so that one we have seen pretty much. And values to variable, let's fix some of the fundamentals, then we'll come back here. So we looked at part 2, we looked at the while loop, we looked at uh, the compound conditions. I mean, we didn't use it in the while, but we looked at to a decent extent from the ripple. And truth value and the false value. So that will be based on these conditions. Like if the condition is not met, then it's a different. Else it will be truth. So we have to go through all these things, and we can look at it. So you can type, we'll go here, and if I type none, there's nothing. Like if I say hello, it's a name error because uh, this it prints it. But if I say that name, it doesn't print because it expects that to be a value. It expects that to be a value, and it expects that to be a value. And int is when you say 0, it is int. And the float is um, the float is 0 0 or any value like this is a float. And there's an empty string which we saw that is equivalent to null. And empty list tuple, we'll come back to those things. Short circuiting the values is something like this. Now we know that anything apart from this zero, none, zero, and empty string, rest of the things are all true. So what we have to do is just we can check all these things right now. So here you can see, let's see a couple of things. Like if you see bool and I say that -1, I think we have seen this, but let's do a refresher kind of thing. It is false. And when you say that bool, when you say that bool, this is bool and this is false. Okay, now bool of none is false. That means it's nothing, undefined. You can see that when you type this none, there's nothing coming in. That means there's no value or something. When I do this, that means it's something. That means null string, even though it's a length of 0. There's something there, but still, when you see the length, it is 0. So that's how it will be. Like if you see this 1 and France and Italy, so anything, the France itself is more than 1 character, more than 0 characters to be precise. Bool. If I say this, so it will be true. So this will be true, France will be true, Italy will be true, true and true, and 1 is again a true. So empty string and France. So false and true is false, and Italy, that means true and false is false. So it's net is false. This is an interesting case. We can look at that in the ripple. Where did it go? So we'll look at this. So as we have seen that empty string and France is empty string in France is this is false. False and true is false, and this entire expression is false, and this is true and false. So in this case, it returns empty string. So there's one catch over there. If you see that, if you execute this, very specifically, we need to understand that in this case, when all are true, it returns the rightmost value, Italian. And in this case, is falsy and it stops immediately. It doesn't even process further, because when it knows that the first thing is false and the compound condition is two ands, it drops right there. Okay. And you see that zero or like zero is false, false or guess. And when it is true, you know that it displays the right side one. So we saw some of these, I mean, all of these things we saw: break, continue, pass. We saw all these things. So other things which I wanted to talk is, I think we discussed this. What is very important is this, I liked it. So chained assignment. So when you do that, like A comma B comma C comma D equal to value, that means it will be the value assigned to all these variables. Other thing is, this is another thing when you want to do, as you can see, the city and hub. City is Hyderabad, hub is Pune. So it's like destructuring. I'm sorry. So it's like tuple unpacking. So, right? So, and also this, when we do a typecasting, when you do a typecasting, so from float has got bigger one. When you say int, so that means int can't accommodate the decimals, so it will truncate. So similarly, we see this. I think in the previous session we saw that into a decent extent. We said that true into 100. So true is 1, or technically it is 1 into 100. So here you can see this, the float of true and float of false is like 1 and 0, right? So similarly, if we try to do some cast of int, and the string value doesn't contain any of the integer value, in that case, it throws an value error because it will not be able to typecast it. Okay, so that's it from my side. I think I have kept other values on whatever we discussed. It's there here. The chained assignment, limit conversions, all the programs are there. So I think we will talk soon on Saturday at 4 p.m. exploring the Amazon Bedrock models, C-line, the VS Code extension, vibe coding, and agent encoding. And thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.